Hey, what's going on, my friends? It's your boy Dave Sharpe, back in the saddle, back in the captain's chair. Okay, you saw Matt, our CMO, filling in the last 2 days, doing an absolutely spectacular job as always. And shout out to the guest over the last 2 days. Today, we have a landscaper, okay? Landscaper who grew a successful online business using the techniques that we share and show here at Legendary. Let's hear a story. RJ, welcome to the show, brother.
Good morning. Good morning.
I hear the birds are chirping in the background.
Man, I'm on my porch. This is the best light to make me look like I'm not my age, it filters everything naturally.
I've
Since I couldn't
learned.
put a hard filter on this, I'll use
Well,
the
well,
natural
well.
light, baby.
You're in your 50s. I'm in my 30s. You're in your 50s and you look in your 50s, right? I'm in my 30s and I look in my 50s. So you're not doing that bad, okay?
I think maybe
I
you've
had a
got
guy.
57 years of wisdom, perhaps.
No, dude, no shit. I was sitting. Now, this was back in 2014. I'm sitting in a hot tub on a cruise liner in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, my wife and I. And a lady, I got a bigger beard at the time. She looks, she says, "Oh, well," she's trying to be nice and get to know us. "What are you, 50?" She says to me, lady says, "What are you, 50?" I almost, a floater almost came to the top. I almost had to clear the whole pool. I mean, I just was like sick to my stomach and shocked. And I'm like, is it the beard? Is it what is it? My wife's never let me live that down to this day.
No,
Because
too
she's,
mgive Mai Tais. She had too many Mai Tais, clearly, Dave.
well, my wife is 2 years older than me. So I
Okay.
always, give her the little rob the cradle thing. But hey, man, are you in Hawaii or is that just your shirt?
No, no. People, every time I wear it, people, "Hey, man, you had me at McLovin," or "Hey, did you know it's a sexy cheeseburger?" And so I just thought it'd be fun to put it on today and just be lighthearted.
Nice,
Uh,
nice, nice. Well, I wanted to first and foremost give my condolences. I saw your writing and that you had lost some important people in your life just recently, and I wanted to just give you my condolences. We don't have to relive anything, but I just wanted to tell you that I have a lot of respect for you, and it seems like what your why is, which is, well, we'll let you tell what your why is, but I wanted to share that first and foremost. So why don't you
I
tell us a
appreciate
little?
that, Dave.
Hey, you're welcome, RJ. What is your story, brother? Can you tell us your legendary marketer story so we can get to know you a little bit more, how you found us and what's
Yeah.
happened since then?
Well, yeah, absolutely. For me, I've had a successful. I'm a general contractor, a landscape contractor for 25 years. Before that, I ran my family's business, so I have a pretty varied background, um, and I'm tired of feeding the machine. Um, it's when I got my first commission, because I've been trying this for 20 years. I did eBay, I did everything, and so I've dumped thousands of dollars and lots of free time, which I don't have a lot of because I've got 7 kids between us. I got grandkids. I've got a
All
tight
right,
group of friends.
now you look older, your grandkid, all
See,
this shit. Okay, all
I'll
right,
take it,
all right,
man.
grandpa, all
I'll
right,
take it,
grandpa.
brother. I love it when they call me grandpa.
I bet you do.
But I, a very long time ago, I just didn't see. I make I make for around here. I do fine, and but the problem is, and I have to explain this to you is, you know, it's time versus money, and then what happens when this old dog, can't move a rock here and there every once in a while, and employees are becoming impossible to find,
Yeah.
and when I made a talk about it. Um, I get my commission checks and little piddly nothing comes out, and that's just, here, keep this, and I look at my spreadsheet for work, and sure, I bring in a ton more money, uh, but it all goes out, and it goes to government, goes to payroll taxes, goes to fuel, repair. The list I mean, I showed it
Are
when
you
I was
living in
doing my
California?
taxes.
Are
I'm
you
in
living in
state of Washington, which is, yeah, just there. It's California light. They're all moving here. I don't know why. We're just as bad tax wise.
Yeah,
And then, yeah,
yeah.
you know, I'm trying to
And
hedge
I
against my,
was simply speaking financially. I wasn't
yeah.
speaking anything other than
Oh, I
financially. I
won't
just
get
know
political.
taxes are insane out there. And you also mentioned in your write-in where we asked you before the interview, you said the commissions that you've made here have filled a lot of gas tanks for you over the
Oh
so
man.
I just yeah, it sounds like your expenses are high, and now hearing that you're on the West Coast, it makes more sense. They are higher over there. The cost of living is higher in most of the West Coast cities.
Well, we're getting a nice real estate boom. It'll last until they hit us with more interest rates. But without getting into all that, I will. I gave up my winter business, which was lucrative because I was basically we serviced hospitals and cancer care places, and they didn't want any snow on the ground ever, which is a great contract to have. You're really 24/7 all winter, and
Yeah.
so I got myself to the position where I said, that's it. 25 years is enough. You can't go anywhere, you can't do anything. And so I get on TikTok, and this is what everybody's, this is the prequel, but I'm entirely intrigued and entertained instantly. And I'm
Yeah.
like, wait a second, there's a couple old dudes on here like me,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
I run across,
Oh.
you're in your 50s, but
Yeah.
I couldn't help. Okay, but I run across Ian, my
Yeah.
boy,
Yeah.
and here's this dude
Baron Ian McClure.
oh man, he's a killer, and he's the sweetest guy.
He is.
And that honesty resonated with me, and I actually thought I just believed him, and I didn't believe in the $7 anything. I thought it was another thing, and I'm like, what's $7? I spent that walking out the door this morning, and I got it, and then my eyes were open because I've spent so many hours on YouTube, and I spent so many hours doing all the things that you hear about people doing. And I've spent, I don't know, could probably be into the tens of thousands over the last 20 years on stuff that just didn't work. And
you're a smart guy. I mean, you're a
well,
smart guy. So it's not like I would think that. What do you think it is about all that? What do you think's different? Do you think you can zero in on what's different between this and other things that you've tried in the past? Because I mean, the most value we could get out of this experience is to hear what is different here. What if imagine somebody who's just starting out on their journey, could we save them 20 years of BS in this conversation is kind of what I think.
well,
I
I
mean?
had to pay for my 20 years in blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
And so
What would you
I
do
had,
different? Could you do anything different though, or was it just the times back then and how in what was available for internet marketers back then was much more difficult than it is now? Or has there been something something else that's happened, do you think?
if I did something, I would have started a blog back then before TikTok, and that's where a lot of success came.
Mm,
And I'm not short form video right now is so much less work for me right now, but
it is.
I wouldn't eliminate the idea down the road of a blog, but I'm going to do what works, Dave. I'm going to take your advice. I'm going to use the products that you folks have recommended because they work, and they've worked for me. And the kicker was the honesty and the people I've met.
Yeah.
There's people on here right now, I guarantee you, that I invited to show up, Make Money with Amy online. She's been a real inspiration, and there's several,
Yeah.
and we're friends, and we do the same thing. And the difference is, I don't, I don't feel weird about selling this, not selling it,
Well,
actually recommending this, and I feel. It's not for everybody, but I don't even tell my friends about it. I want to get so big that they find out about me,
yeah.
and that's
I don't
where
think
I'm
you
at.
need to. Everybody we're so used to, I guess And I actually said this to somebody. I'm not going to reveal who it is the other day, but it's somebody that's in my life. And I said, why do you have to explain yourself? And I think that we get beat down. We beat ourselves down. Of course, we're our own worst critics with all the different things that we've tried over
Yes.
the years. And then when we start something new, it's really, even if it might, even if we might have more of a chance to succeed, our inner whatever feels the need to sort of explain and so forth. And I love that. I love that so many of our people come in and are just getting to work. And I'm sure some of us still feel the need to explain ourselves. I do. Even to this day, I have to catch myself. Dead ass serious, dude. I'm a
Right.
real ass regular person.
I
It,
believe
it,
that.
it, that's why I do this show every day in front of right here, because I don't want any sort of weird images of me on yachts or any bullshit. Because I
That's
gotta
me.
go, I gotta leave from here right now, dude. And I gotta go. I'm going around the corner to go be a dad. Work in a
Absolutely.
house that's right around the corner from my other house. And when I walk into my house, folks, nobody rolls out a red carpet for Dave Sharpe and says, "Oh, the legendary marketer's here."
Right. Right.
No, they say, "Take out the garbage, change his diaper. I'm tired. Let's go swimming."
Yeah.
And there's no so, you know, um, for me, the rest of the world is not explaining itself to me about why it does what it does, why it decides what it decides, why it has the opinions that it has. And so for me, as a new entrepreneur, of somebody like you who's starting over, and your emotional energy is so damn important. Each one of
Hmm.
our emotional energy in how we feel, and um, one argument can bring us down. One bad toxic situation can bring us down and ruin our day.
Yeah.
And we're going to create something really legendary that day. And oftentimes when we go back and dissect how the situation came to be, oftentimes we find that we were the instigator. We were the ones who went looking for some validation from somebody, or
Hmm.
looking for somebody's approval, or we shared something with somebody and they didn't respond the way that we wanted them to. And then, that triggered us or got us upset, or we felt unsupported. And so I know I'm ranting on this a little bit, but I just love the fact that for whatever reason, you're not explaining yourself.
Well, I'm too old for that, man. I
Yeah.
don't want. I, time is a key motivator for me, and the time that I have left is that clock is ticking. So if I want to accomplish something, and when you find something that you connect with like this, it fit all my boxes because from a production end, I ran we went to a great high school that had all these just great programs, auto shop, welding, whatever. Well, I ran this high end radio and TV program. This is back in, this is many years ago, but we had all the state of the art stuff. Now I have that in my pocket times 1,000. And
Right.
that production, that creative aspect of it, it's just juice for me, man.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
it just, my brain, I'm always spinning plates in my brain. There's something going on in the back of my head all the time, and it's a
Right.
blessing and a curse.
I get it.
And
I
so
totally get that.
it's just, but what you said is this: I'm to the point, like Amy, where it's such an opportunity, and that I want to share it with some of the people in my family that I know could benefit from it. Not
Mhm.
not and I let them know. When you let them know how zero risk it is to find out more about it, and the first one, my sister-in-law, they just came up from my father's funeral, and I brought my cry towel just in case I start bubbling, but because my dad was a very, very special man. But my brother and my sister-in-law, they adopted two foster children and they, in their 50s, and just they've just these kids are just blossoming, you know,
Mm.
but they had to, you know, fly them up here to Washington State from Texas, you know, on short notice. That's about $6,000, you know.
Yeah.
Well, what if she could make that, you know, in a month or 2 months or 3 months, and you got it sitting in an account there, and you're not
Yeah.
using your credit cards, you're not using your savings. And so I'm at the point where I'm feeling compelled. I have so much support. I have a wife that has a very strong faith, and she knows that I just can't let this ship sink. I'm dedicated to my family, and I'm dedicated to the people around me. My friends are the same way. You know,
Mm.
anybody I've even mentioned it to, they're like, "What is it?" I go, "It's not a one-word answer, man. Just go here and watch me be silly, okay? And then if you have any questions, let me know." You know. So I haven't battled any of that because I don't give a
I
shit,
love that.
Dave. I
Yeah.
just don't anymore. If you're gonna bring a bunch of crap into my life, you're not going to probably be into my life very long.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. I'll deal with problems. My friends, we have a policy. You know, if one of us is messing up in our life, um, a friend, a true friend's going to tell you.
Sure.
Everybody else, if they have stuff they haven't dealt with, and they want to bring it into your life for a variety of reasons, but they don't want to deal with it themselves, I
Right.
just I could point them in the right direction, but I
Yeah.
cannot fix you. I'm still
Yeah.
fixing me, man. I'm trying to figure out my own
Mm.
shit, you know. So,
Well said. Really well said. Really well said.
but
Boy,
but
you
did I even answer your question, Dave?
I
We
don't
started
even
off on
care
my
what I
ego.
don't care what my question was.
Bye, honey. My wife's going to work.
My wifey. Um, so I love everything that you just said. It's so true, and it's so simple now. Uh, I think we have the accounts and pages that look like everybody else's accounts and pages when we're out there marketing on our TikTok profile or our Instagram or our Facebook or whatever. And I love that you can just say, "Hey, this is where I'm at. Go check it out if you have any questions." Right? All the answers. You don't have to. I was just talking to a friend yesterday on the phone, which I rarely do because I don't take phone calls because of
Yeah,
the
I
same
hate the phone,
reason.
dude. I hate the phone.
Yeah.
Hate it.
For the same reason, dude,
Yeah.
that you were just kind of talking about is just all the nonsense and most of the phone calls you usually get are from people who are unwilling to deal with their own shit and they want to put it on you, right? I'm
Yes.
not an open. I'm not an. I think the phone is an antiquated. Like just being able to just call people. I think the direct message thing of just being able to just direct message somebody and then just fuck, let me just stop everything I'm doing and go and like deal with your
Right.
shit is the most
Right.
unproductive, stupidest shit that human
Right.
beings have ever. Like the fact that we got the phone and we could hold it up and we could do what we do is great, but the fact that any asshole can just hit me up and completely distract me, I'd like to talk about that a little bit with you because
Oh, yeah.
I know you're doing a lot in your marketing that's unique and different. And part of it is to create a safe kind of community on your post.
Very
A
much.
part, and I'm all getting this just from a little bit you wrote in. So I'd like you to explain it and talk to us a
Sure.
little bit about how are you protecting, your own time? How are you protecting your audience? Why are you doing it? Talk to us a little bit about what you're doing on TikTok that's different and that
Sure.
you think it's working because you're doing something that, may even take a little bit more work, but you feel it's worth it.
Well, I've been guilty of a lot of the same mistakes that everybody makes, but I felt like, and it may have hurt me because I've heard the argument that, well, all comments are good comments, and I don't believe that. I don't want, and even if it slows down the algorithm or whatever stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm completely comfortable with defending my position on legendary marketer. I believe in it, and so I'll get on and reply if somebody says, In fact, now I'm looking for them because I don't get them anymore because these people, if they're a-holes, I block them, you know? And I'm not talking about regular people that just have a concern or say that's bullshit. I'm happy to get on there and reply and say, this is why it isn't, you know? And I'm happy to do that stuff. WhatsApp, Cash App, freaking every scam known to mankind. I see my fake profile on there. Screw these guys. I want people. I ran. My family had almost 100 retail stores. You think I'm going to let a customer of mine come into my retail store and have somebody else monkey with them while they're in my store? It's the same thing to me. So I've used the filters very effectively. No comment makes it on my board unless I've seen it first. And I don't care how long it takes me. I'm to the point, and I'm all in. I got some big changes coming, and I know by fall that I'd like to replace my job by fall. And so with the income from online marketing, and I believe, no, I will. How about that? I will make that happen. So,
you heard it here, folks. You heard it here.
So, hey, call me out, man.
No, you made it. What you just
shit or not.
Well, what you did was make a public declaration, and it's really powerful because now there's something that's so different in just saying something out loud than saying it in your head. Because once you say it out loud, it actually becomes real. And that's why, for me, some of the best, a lot of people are like, well, how do I work on my mindset, Dave? Well, what are you thinking right now? Well, no, that's not what you're really thinking. Tell me what you're really thinking right now.
Right.
And then they say it out loud. And I say, well, what do you think about that? And they say, well, now that I've said it out loud, it sounds pretty ridiculous, right? So saying things out loud can oftentimes take their power away, or in this case, give them power, because now you made this goal or this, and I believe in speaking things into existence it's sort of like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
1000%.
But wasn't that always framed as a negative? Isn't a self-fulfilling prophecy automatically pretty much looked at as a negative, right? But what about the positive? I mean, I don't know. Maybe self-fulfilling prophecy is either looked at as negative or positive, but certainly we know that a negative self-fulfilling prophecy can happen because I've legitimately seen those happen. But you know what I've seen happen more is positive self-fulfilling, speaking things into existence that I wanted to happen, just like what you just did. So I like that. Thanks for doing that.
Well, if folks have an opportunity after we're done to go to my TikTok, his last name is Gregory. I know his first. He was a activist, good friend of Martin Luther King, and he was a comedian. He used to go to the Playboy Club in the late '60s, and I do a lot of, I call them power duets. People that are saying what I really feel, and they're saying it better than I can say it. And this gentleman, I am doing this, and he says there is no try. That's very Yoda, But he said, when you say, I can't go to Paris because I'd like to go to Paris this year, but I can't because I can't afford it. You just told 17 billion cells in your body that won't happen. And this man beat cancer this way, the worst form of cancer. And that talk is right now, it's people, it's starting to take off. And a lot of them do because they resonate with people and their struggle. And I battled all those dark, depressive demons when I was young, like you. And I lost a friend to depression, and I'm on the other side of that now, and so I've decided that I'm going to be bold, and I'm just going to put my stake in the ground. That's what I'm going to do. And so that's how you gear it. I mean, you gear your life automatically. It all just falls into, well, now I need, if that's the case, if that's my goal, well, what would you have to do to make that happen? You just backwards step it. And what successes have I had? How can I build on that? And that's where I'm at. So
Yeah.
There's very few things that I say this is happening, period, you know.
Yeah.
And but being a good dad is one that's not hard. Being a good grandpa, well, it might be hard, but it's enjoyable. And
Yeah.
I enjoy this.
Yeah.
So I'm going to include this in my list of things that I care about,
Mm.
and I'm going to give it the reverence that it deserves. It's something that could potentially help my family inexplicably and give me time on top of it. I'd love to be able to visit my brother down in Texas. My other brother's in Spain right now, and 7 kids in my family, so I could travel all the time. I've got
Mm.
a sister in Panama, and
Crash on their
so
couch from, go for not even have to pay for lodging, right?
that well, hey, yeah, I'm right, yeah, exactly, and more time on my boat, stuff like that with the family.
Come on
So
now,
yeah,
baby. I just got a new boat. That's what I'm talking about. I got a
well, it's
30-foot center console, 2 twin 300 Yamahas on the back. I mean, boom, boom, boom. We're going
well, you're
offshore.
speaking my language now, Dave. I've got a now. I don't want to, mine's 35 foot. I know you're a big shot, but
No,
my boat's a
you're
little
well
bigger than yours.
on the water. I'm the new guy. On the water, I'm following your lead, buddy boy.
You know,
I know my place. I know my place. I know my limits. All right.
no, I'm just playing. It's kind of it's a houseboat, and we just get to, and it's kind of half open, half not. We get to sit there. We can barbecue on it. It's got double fridges. It's got all that stuff. And then we just watch the kids jump off the roof for 19 hours while we have a
That's what
cocktail.
I'll be doing when I'm in my
That's
50s,
it,
all right?
baby.
But for right
Yeah,
now, I'm still gonna go out offshore fishing, and if
you
you're down
got
here to
to.
Florida, I'm taking your 50-plus
I may
ass
hold
out
you to
there
that,
too.
brother. You're in the right state.
Yeah, I am. I am. I
Florida,
am.
you're in the right state right now, man.
I
Yeah,
am, especially for the fish.
yeah,
So what I want to talk just briefly about you and your making content. You're doing these duets, and you actually just said something that really stood out to me, and I thought was pretty profound, which is I often duet with people who say what I am feeling and thinking, but have found better words or can say it more clearly or
more
whatever.
feeling
What
sometimes.
can you I want to talk a little bit about your content strategy, and can you
Sure,
just let's start there maybe with the duets and tell us a little bit about those and how those are working for you and what are you
sure.
doing that is working?
Well, I just like the creative process, and sometimes, I just like to, from the cuff, not even every once, but too much. It's easy for me just to get creative and not get my message across. Now, it's good to
Yeah.
be creative, but you got to get you've got to build on something. It can't be abstract. I'm finding some of the cadence that you use, some of the cadence and terminology that I follow Alan too, and that they use when they mimic other great TikTokers, right? And and so we all use each other's stuff. Can I get a little bit more feeling in there? Can I make it mine? I don't want to go verbatim, but some of it is so powerful. And so, like some of my shortest videos that took me, I just did one a couple days ago, just very, very simple. And I just told people, I'm trying to remember it, but it was basically, um,
Well, they can
if you
watch
want
it
to
on
be
your
on, if you want to be, if you like the idea of 6 figures, and I don't want it to be too flashy. So it's you're riding that edge. I don't want to be used car salesman because that's not my style. But some of the cadence and contents, I've had to pivot and really ask myself, you know, am I being too abstract? The
Right.
the
Right.
duets that say what I feel, I also add. I try to give value from me while they're
Yeah.
talking. So
Right.
I'll put in quotes that I've said from my talks, or not just people. We all just sit there and it's like, yeah, I'm having coffee watching this other guy do this,
Yeah.
but I'll add other value. I'll bring in photographs through the stickers
Right.
of articles that are supporting what this person is saying to show
Right.
proof.
Right.
And I do at Robert Kiyosaki's changed my life. A Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I've lost my ego a long time ago, and it's benefited my life tremendously. And I used to care what everybody thought all the time. I used to try to get in people's heads and think,
Yeah.
well, they're probably thinking this. I don't got time for that anymore.
Yeah.
So I'll duet him, and there's some younger TikTokers that are fabulous and brilliant. But a lot of the time I stick with people my age that really resonate with what's going on for people my age. So we are all worried about the same thing. We have fears about what's going on in the world that we can't control. And we have fears of war. We have fears of poverty. We have fears of aggression. And so I tap into that because I want for them what I'm building. I want for them to be able to pivot and save and help their family if something really horrible was to happen. And it could just be financial, you know. We're not in a great place, this country, and neither is Canada, and none of the Western world is. And so
everybody's scared.
We're all scared, and rightfully so. And we're looking for something that's going to, if you take that fear and you harness it, and you put it into something that gives you just a chance at being able to move sideways if a problem really happened. That's what helps keep me as sane as I am, you know. So
security. I mean, humans want security. If we go back to the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, then we can see that you know, and for those of you who have never heard of this, and I've got some training, gosh, it's so crazy. I have to finish this and get this released.
I can help you with that. I know what it is. If you
I was just pulling up some slides that I have, but please go ahead. Give us your take on it.
Well, I went to 5 different colleges when I was growing up, and I'm not a doctor. Okay. I was kind of lost. I bounced around to school. And I didn't even take classes that, because I never thought I'd work for anybody else. I always thought I'm going to have my own thing, you know. But college kept me out of trouble with my parents. It's like, oh, he's in college, so obviously he's doing great, right? Well, I took a lot of philosophy, and they were talking about, which I was intrigued by. And Maslow's hierarchy of needs is when your simpler needs are met, you go to the next level of needs. So, what is your first? It'd be, I think it's food and water. Then it's warmth. And then it goes all the way up. Yes, yes, yes. And to where you're able to make choices better based on the choices that you've made before. Yeah. Very much so.
And right now, and I've got some additional takes on that, which is basically the world right now is dealing with and they're consumed with their safety needs, right?
Yes.
They're basically, until those safety needs are met, it's real difficult for that human being to focus on the higher needs. Are we in alignment here with
absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, if I don't have air and water and food and shelter and sleep and clothing, I'm not really worried about your friendship.
Right.
I'm worried about getting air. Right. But when I have air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, my reproduction needs, I've got a mate or found a mate. See, I can have all those other things, but if I don't have a mate, what will I be longing for?
Yep.
A mate, right? A companion, somebody to reproduce with. And then I can move up, and once those needs are met, I can focus on personal security, employment, resources, health, property, right? And so that what's interesting about the Maslow's hierarchy of needs as well is that these lower needs are deficiency needs, which as they're met, the motivation decreases, which is why a lot of the world, in my opinion, once they kind of meet their kind of basic bills, then they sort of stop, right? Because the motivation decreases as those needs are met. But growth needs, which is sort of self-esteem and some of the creativity and some of the, you just said, the ego deflation that you did, that you've done over the years, to where that's a healthy thing. You've deflated your ego to where you're not better than or less than others,
No, I'm
but you
better
can
than
see
anybody.
yourself as equal to, right?
Hmm.
And that's really what proper sizing of one's self-image is. But growth needs, that's, if we can meet, this is why making money and having money is what helps you meet a lot of these needs, unfortunately, in this world,
It's
right? Your
absolutely.
safety needs are met in a much of your or your physiological needs, minus the reproduction. But I mean, gosh, you could even buy that if but anyways, I digress. Uh, uh, Once we meet those with making enough money, um, that's why people can be more stress free, because then they can focus on the things that we are capable of focusing on, but only if our needs are met. And that's why a child who grows up in an abusive or traumatic household has a hard time developing, because they're always only focused on their physiological and safety needs.
Hmm.
So, we have to meet those safety needs, both as children, our parents have to, or our caregivers, but then as adults, it's our responsibility to do that. And, it can be a very hopeless thing to be sitting there at a job where you don't see an opportunity to make more money, and it begins to feel hopeless, right? Because not only are you not getting fulfillment because those top categories are not getting touched much, but you're also barely meeting your physiological and safety needs. So,
Well, the opposite of great, or the killer of great is good. And so you get to the the threshold. It's like, well, I got what everybody says I should have had. I got this
mm,
job and this title, which I've had, and title, maybe in my 20s and early 30s meant something locally, but I quit a job where that I was miserable at, and God bless my family. It's just I wasn't good at it. It wasn't for me, and I was helping my we were transitioning out of into the digital age. There was a lot going on there, and I was working every day, and I was working every night. And it's all I thought about. I was consumed by it, and I went from that to with this title and to mowing lawns, and it was the best thing. Uh, it's the best thing I ever did, because it took my ego. The same people that I dealt with in business that live on the big hill with the big houses and stuff. Hey man, you need your lawn mowed? And
mm,
then 5 years later, I had giant commercial accounts. I had all these things, but my ego wasn't there anymore.
yeah,
It's about my quality of life,
yeah,
and then you become so approachable to people, and they understand your authenticity because uh, because they feel your authenticity, the
yeah,
words you use. And I will not buy into that. I just had this conversation at a friend's son's wedding that I've done since he was born, and ran into an old friend from high school, and he wanted to break out his tax forms. I got this, I got that, I don't have that conversation. I hang out with people that quite literally own this town. I mean, they are loaded. We never talk about it. I went to high school with them. We never talk about money. We
yeah,
we want to sit around and talk about our kids, talk about
right,
how bad our shoulder might be now. We're the point where all of our a lot of our friends are dying. Just lost a really close one, really close this month,
sorry to hear that.
and nothing is guaranteed. And I'm not going to sit here and I know if somebody's got a nice bow, I'm going to be the first one to mention it. It's wonderful, but I don't
Yeah,
want the breakdown of you know uh, uh, why you're better than me, because I just bought for $250. I could buy pretty much any regular car or truck that I got a 1990 Geo Metro in my garage right now that gets 55 miles to the
to
gallon.
the gallon.
Okay. I have no problem. And my whole family knows
That,
that it's got 3-color paint on it. I will drive that thing till the wheels fall off, and I will laugh. I'll try. I have when you have no ego about something,
Yeah.
and you don't care, so you judge,
Oh,
don't
I had a
judge.
sponsor. I had a sponsor when I first got clean in 2008. Like seriously, got clean.
Congratulations, by the way, you've changed a
Thank you.
lot of lives.
Thanks, man. Um, and he drove a little yellow Volkswagen Beetle, or you know what I mean? Like is
Just
that what they're
a
called?
shit box. Yeah, I know
The little
exactly what you're
bug,
talking.
the little
Yeah.
bug, you know what I mean? And I had idolized gangsters, and I mean, I had come from the streets and was all warped. I mean, obviously, my role models, my priorities, and role models were all mixed up. But he was a short Puerto Rican guy, and he was a pack of dynamite. They say, dynamite comes in small packages. He did. He was a great leader of men, great leader of men. He had his own inner demons that he didn't deal with, and they eventually took him out. I learned a lot of lessons
They'll
from this
get
guy.
you.
Yeah, you got to deal with your own stuff. You can't just be busy helping everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
But he taught me a lot about ego deflation, and he taught me a lot about what the value of relationships and what's important in life. And it's not what you have, it's who you have. And in your experiences, in your heart, are you comfortable in your own skin? And are you at peace inside? And so I've worked really hard over the last 14 years since I got clean to do a lot of that ego deflation. I had success earlier in my career, and I had a lot of imposter syndrome, and I had a lot of insecurity, and I didn't know how to even deal with limelight or success or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that a lot with people. They'll get successful and not really know how to act. Oh my God, now am I supposed to be different? Am I supposed to be, so
Yep.
it's difficult. As you got to be, everybody wants to be rich, but there's different challenges. Like Mace and Puff Daddy said, "Mo money, mo problems." I mean,
Right.
there's mental and emotional challenges that pop up. But for me, the ego deflation has been a big deal. And you're right; it allows me to get on video. It allows me to get in front of people. Look, I sweat like a pig. I mean, my armpits. The reason why we have a black everything is because look at this, the sweat under my arms. I mean, it's like a faucet. I just sweat like a pig. And do you think I really want to be up in front of people? I felt embarrassed about that, and like, oh, ashamed. But the legendary marketer, that's what legendary marketer is to me. I don't have to be the legendary marketer all the time. I can go home and be sweaty Dave dad for sitting around dad bod. My wife don't give a shit. She loves me
Right.
for who I am.
My
But the legendary marketer, I can turn on the camera and I can be the best version of myself. I can be the hero of my own story. And then I can turn off the camera and I can go back and my kids don't know what I do. I'm not at home saying, I mean, they know legendary, but they don't know what it means. I mean, so my point is that I love the ego deflation conversation. And I think for a lot of us, that's what it is. You may think that it's not your ego that's getting in the way, but the truth is, and I've said this, most of our egos are way bigger than our bank accounts. We've got these big, huge egos. We're afraid of, judgment, which is it's normal. But really, if what it's not, we're afraid to get hurt. We're afraid to get our feelings hurt. That it all goes back to childhood on the freaking playground. We don't want to be picked last. We don't want somebody to not like our video. We don't want somebody to leave us a nasty comment. And there's things you can do about it. You're not helpless. And if we can get our ego out of the way and not take things personally, the 4 Agreements would be a great book for everybody in this community to read. If we cannot take those personally, keep the ego, because that's what gets offended, right? The ego, RJ. If you say something to me that it hurts my feelings, it hurts my ego, who I think I am.
Right.
But if I remove that, then I'm flexible. I can take things. I know that they're not mine. Boy, you must be having a bad day to say something that mean. Or is that
Well,
how you, is it, say more about that. Tell me what comes up for
well,
you.
when you remove your ego is when the opportunity becomes visible. And so if you had an ego involved, you've got to check with your ego before you make these changes, and you got to align everything according to your ego. Well, you're never gonna get anything done, man. You know, well, my ego says, well, that's not what I normally do. Well, do you want what you normally have? You know, I mean, you've tried that. So what is normal? I consider myself imperfect, but whether I made another commission or not, I like who I am. So I'm just adding more lights, bells, and whistles to who I am to benefit my situation, my family, my grandkids. If there's a hospital bill that someone needs to pay in my family, I want to be able to help them. You know, these emergencies that come up, money isn't everything, but wouldn't it be great if I could have sent my brother that money? You know, he's raising a couple special needs kids. You know, and you know, he does just fine. But if you're able to, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that would be the most rewarding for me. I've got everything I need. I got a roof over my head. I've got this wonderful wife that I've known her since I was 11 years old. I've got her kids, my kids. We got this big, crazy combined family, and they're all adults now, so we're empty nesters. But that's all of it's a win. All of it's a win. Now, let's take that and refine it, deal with my fears about the world. And that is connecting with people all over the world on the internet. And what I love about Legendary, which was a surprise to me, it's a great leveler, meaning I have friends from so many countries. We're all different colors. We're different sexes. We're different everything. And we help each other out, and we have the same similar goal. And there's people that just help me for free. I help other people for free, but I make them earn it. You know, I'll give you this much help. I'll give you this is what I budget for people because somebody did that for me, and I have to help you. But if I see them flailing and not working it, not investing in themselves, well, it's hard because I have a job. I get that, but what's going to take you out of the situation? How much do you hate your job? So if you hate your job quite a bit, just put a freaking saddle on that thing and ride that hate and use that energy to make this thing happen. So every day every time you go, oh shit, I got to go face my boss. He's an asshole. You know, I mean, every day. You remember, it's just torture for some people going to work, and I've been that guy. Every day, it's like you get anxious and sick to your stomach as you're driving through traffic with 8,000 other people that feel the same way. You know, and so just you got to. So that's a great motivator, I think, for a lot of people. And
and these friends that you're talking about are friends that you've met in this industry. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, absolutely.
New friends or old
through my TikTok channel.
Yeah.
I consider Ian a friend. I have, well, there's quite a few people there. I invited a bunch of people on here. So hi guys. I said, hey, I'm going to be on. I get to talk to Dave. I've been wanting to pick your brain forever, man. I feel like I know you.
What can I, you got any questions? I just pulled up a picture of our mastermind, and you just said lots of people from all over the world, you know, different colors, different sexes, different religions, and all this kind of stuff. And this is our recent mastermind that we just did.
I followed that.
Yeah, I mean,
great TikTokers on there, man. Just great, great social media experts. People,
legendary marketers, brother. Legendary marketers. You know what I mean? I mean, Andrea's in here. We had Stephen Droage. We had Josh Smith was here. I mean, every mastermind is different. It's never the same, success stories that we're, trying to convince everybody are new ones. It's always different people. I mean, Andrea's stats she's gotten 200 million views. She's built in 13 months. Where even is she? She's shorter, so she's
I follow almost everybody on there because the ideas and just fabulous. And that's what I recommend people do. Go watch how these people have evolved,
Oh gosh, I mean it's unbelievable. Here's Andrea. She went and has in 13 months. In 13 months has gone and absolutely just done things that you would never think are possible. In over 200 million views on her videos in
That's
13
fantastic.
months. I mean, it's just absolutely unbelievable. It's 150,000 person email list.
That is great. It's hard to even wrap my brain around that.
150 in 13 months. She's got 200 million views.
You looking for a picture of her? Because I want to make sure I'm following her. I know I am, but I want to make sure.
Yeah,
I've seen her on the lead countdown on Legendary. I watched the names, and I want to make that board someday. And in fact, as I progress, I think I want to get through this next. I'm going to start doing a bunch of lives. I'm going to start working to get on other platforms. My wife is an internet researcher, and she's I don't know if you saw the article about our government wanting to shut TikTok down. I don't know if you saw that.
I did see that.
And
I saw a headline about it.
Yeah. And so I'm not sure that will happen, but it sure made me think you've got to start doing CapCut and launching to several platforms. I've dabbled a little bit, but this next role will be diversifying that way and doing a lot of what successful TikTokers do, and get on live and start answering basic questions about the program and getting personal with people and showing them the opportunity that they could have.
Does that concern you a little bit and scare you a little bit? I sense a little bit of concern in your voice about TikTok potentially disappearing.
Well, it's not I forget who I saw. One of the people I follow that I think were in that room. It's a brain trust man, and so he was talking about what is truly a digital asset. And this can go back to Rich Dad Poor Dad. Well, is TikTok a digital asset? No, because I don't. It is technically, because I do make a significant amount of money on TikTok, but they can flip a switch and send me packing for absolutely no reason. And
TikTok is a place that you're renting and then subletting, right?
Yes.
Whereas your email address or a blog is something that you own, because that's your data.
The next thing.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, it's fine if you have a bunch of rentals, meaning Facebook profile, TikTok profiles, and then you're driving them all. The reason why we drive all of our traffic into a capture page to capture the email address is because first of all, don't be confused that if you've got 100,000 followers on TikTok, those are all leads. They're not. They're an audience. There's somebody who hit follow and may have never watched another video. Now, the next step would be leads, people who you've got their email address. Those are so much more qualified.
Yes.
There's so much. So You've got your audience, which may consist of 100 or a couple of 100,000 followers on all your social media after 13 months, like Andrea, right? But her email list is 150,000 people. So tomorrow,
That's crazy.
because she's drove her that's insane. And in
It
13
really
months,
is.
in my entire career, we never, unless just we were doing a ton of paid traffic, would have ever been able to build a list of 150,000. But it's possible for anybody to do now, and it's possible because of this short form video phenomenon, to where you can create a piece of content in seconds without even talking in the video. And in many cases, we had a guest on, I think it was my episode on Monday, where she had a video that went absolutely insane. Millions and millions and millions of views. I'm going to actually show the video because I didn't show it on Monday. Watch this. Look at how simple this is. That's the video. That's the whole video. It's just her sitting in. It's just her sit. Now, this is not even Andrea. This is the guest that we had on Monday. She's sitting in front of our computer. She's typing. She's got a trending sound over the video, and she's got some text, not even saying a word.
That's nuts, man. I know some of my biggest videos never had anything close to that.
And this, dude, 500,000 likes, bro. I mean, that's not even views. This thing's got just millions and millions and millions of views. It's got 500,000 likes. She didn't even say anything. It's crazy.
Well, the possibility, and that's it, man. Nice grab.
I missed it.
He'll come around again. But the opportunity, and that's the thing for me, is it's green water opportunity. I'm at like 9,400 followers, and I'm like, God, I look at some of my my counterparts, and they've got 27, 50,000, 70,000, right? Well, if in my community, I can build trust and leads that develop, and relationships that develop for people that can at least consider that might be right for them. And the commissions are really starting to come in now, and then some of my friends have 145, and they aren't having as much success as I am. And so I'm doing something right. I think but I have never had a giant viral video ever,
And you don't need one. You don't need one. That's what a lot of people really don't realize is that you really don't need a massive viral video to be successful with this. A couple of 100 views per video will get you a long way in this game. You do that consistently over time. And then, like you did in this video, you get 59,000 views, and it gives you a little bump. But you're doing something. I'd like you to just touch on how you're not even what you're doing with comments and a couple of other things that you're doing differently. This conversation's been so fun, but I want you to, before we leave, I want you to cover just a few of those pieces. So what are you doing with comments that's different than what we see most everybody else doing?
Well, I will comment on any comment that's left for me. We have a group of us legendaries, and I pride myself on. I like my legendary. We're all doing the same thing, and we like each other's stuff. Sometimes it's just a sticker or a tag, and then you have to respond in that. The algorithm does not identify anything different as long as you comment. So we help each other out. Let's say you have a video that's it's deciding if it's going to do something or not. that's a great way with friends that are doing what you're doing. We like each other's stuff. We don't just do it if we hate it. We're obviously or dislike it. We're not, or it's not our thing. We're not going to leave a comment. So that's one basic thing. And there's so many of us that are trying to help each other get to the next level on Legendary, that it's a great little booster. And then on top of that, I have the filters that TikTok offers are impressive.
Yeah.
And what people don't realize, what scares them about lives, and I'm such a big mouth that, and I think I'm a reasonable guy that if somebody does, and it's my fear too sometimes when I do lives, people get on there and they're just mean. I don't have a moderator, I'm just starting out. And I'll see if anybody wants to help me with my stuff once I'm going to present my schedule very soon for all of you out there. In fact, I'm at like 9,400. If anybody wants to like me, get me over that 10K, baby. Come and see me.
Yeah. Go get them over the 10K. Come on now.
But, and I'll do the same for you. I'll follow back. But even in lives, you have spam and word filters that's going to keep obnoxious people out of your lives. People that if people that want to come on and talk cash.
So how can I set those
crypto,
filters? Let's set the filters right here for people.
Sure.
Can I do that?
Go into your pro. Yeah, there you go. I'm having a hard time seeing because I'm blind, but if you go into your settings, I think it's on the right there. My little iPad gave out, so
Right.
but
The
there's
settings.
I think it's privacy. There's your privacy, and then I think if you click that, it'll go into your settings. But and it's the same with your videos. You can filter out. I filter out crypto. They get pretty creative.
Right.
Because they'll add asterisks and they'll add all this kind of stuff. But since I have a comment filter, I apologize, I can't see that, or I'd be more help. And I'll tell you what, Dave, I'll make a talk about it when we're done today.
Perfect.
And anybody that wants to see it, I'll do a screen record, and I'll show them, and we'll make something positive out of it.
Nice.
But I also, I didn't realize this, but you can edit all the comments, and they have to go through me. And I will take derogatory. I'm happy to address, and it's a great way to reply and tell people that are just there that have lost complete faith in everything, and they're like, this is a scam or BS or beware. I love getting on and saying, well, hey, let's talk about this. And I'd like you to, they usually have no idea what digital marketing is. They don't know who you are. They don't know who Legendary is. It's just all bullshit because they're scared to do something with their life, And so if you're going to get on my feed and throw, if it's just totally negative, I just usually, and it's not that often anymore because I've really honed this group. I only want people here that want to be here, if you want to sit around and not do anything with your life, you're not on the right page, man. Because the people, my group, and some of them don't even know who I am. Just like I said, they give me a quick follow, but I hope to make their feed someday and change their mind about their life and tell them there's an option for you that you may not be aware of, and it's changed my life in a very, very dramatic way. And so it's not for everybody. And the beauty is I don't sell, man. I don't sell. I recommend, I tell people my story, and that's why affiliate marketing is the best thing ever, because there's no hard sell. There isn't, and there's nothing wrong with selling someone a product, but my job, I love the middle end of it I've closed. I mean, I cold called Carol Shelby. This is a true story. I'll make a talk about it because I've got a letter from Carol Shelby up in my office. I cold called him when I worked for a manufacturing company rep, and I got him on the phone, man, on a cold call. And it was it was like accidental. This guy got fired. This guy got fired. Then I ended up with his secretary, and she goes, well, would you like to talk to Carol? I'm like, I just cold called you. I'm not ready for that.
Well,
You know? I didn't think I would, and she laughed, you know?
she's not a very good gatekeeper, huh?
Well, the thing I learned about them, about Carroll Shelby after watching the movie, and, you know, I've known about him my whole life. He's a complete legend.
Yeah, I don't know much about him.
Well, I'll make it quick because there's too much. He's a giant. He's a man that said we could compete with the Europeans. So he made racing, which had never been done before. And that Ford versus Ferrari movie is basically him taking a car that he made before. He got rejected from Chevrolet, which he wanted.
I haven't seen that movie. That's probably where a lot of I could learn a lot about and see his story. I saw that advertised, but
he was open to new ideas.
Yeah.
And so to me, getting on the phone for him I think it was his normal. I think I talked to her, I told her what I did, and we really had something spectacular. We were a manufacturer's rep that for free, we would source parts all over the world and to job shops that were rated for your product. And we're talking about high end airplane parts and these Cobras. You've seen a Shelby Cobra Mustang. That's his name, man.
Yeah.
And so he's beyond legendary. And then he goes over there, beats Ferrari, beats all these, the originators of the car, you know, Porsche, everybody. And so I believe, in retrospect, after seeing the movie and talking to her and talking to him, he's a man that has no ego. He had no ego. He had every right to have an ego that is open to new ideas. On the Monday after I talked to him, I ended up in a magazine it was a new way of sourcing parts all over the world, right? They send us basically a car in boxes and says, yeah, source these parts for us. And so we're on there through our system, Eastern Europe, you know, places that could do it cheaper for him. And so he got this incredible system. We got to use the fact that we used Carroll Shelby as a sort of that name in the auto business is it's the gold standard. And he was a very giving man too. And so it was like Christmas, you know. We got all these blueprints for all these car parts, and anyways, I'm probably rolling into a direction that you don't want to go, but it was exciting, and there's possibility everywhere. So just when you think, well, I'm going to make my thousands call, which I don't do anymore on the phone, to someone to tell them about this product, that could be the one where you get Carroll Shelby on the phone, you know.
Well, what about the thousands video? I mean, I feel like we always have a tendency to quit right before the miracle happens. And, you know, I mean, no matter what we're trying, people act like this is something new, like trying to build this business. And no, it's the same with everything you do.
Yeah.
You go up to the baseball plate and you make 99 swings and you're like, this sucks. I'm a total failure. And on the 100th swing, you hit a home run and you're like, holy shit, this is awesome. This is awesome. It works. You know, I just got to keep swinging. You know, sometimes I just got to keep swinging.
In my family, we have a saying, my daughter's she's at UW in environmental engineering. She's super brain. She must have got it from my sister or my ex-wife, you know, but but beat on it till it gives. If you believe this is the thing for you, you have to approach it every different direction, be like in a boxing match, you know. Well, that didn't work. He's jabbing me, you know. That didn't work. He got my body, you know.
And he's going to kill me. And he's going to kill me if I don't figure it out. Right. See, we don't have major consequences if we quit, because it's like, well, whatever, I'm out $7 or a few thousand, whatever. We make up some sort of reason. Rationalization of why it's okay, or why I can, or why it's too hard, or why it's not going to work anyways. And that is something that we often work on a lot at the masterminds and so forth, because it's so important to be able to see and and be able to actually see it coming or hear it when that
Mm-hmm.
old soundtrack of whatever you normally say to yourself when you're about to quit, like, this is probably not the right thing for me,
Right.
right? Probably
Right.
not the right niche, probably not the right business model, probably not the
Sure.
right this, that. But the truth is there's a pattern or probably some similarities to other things that I've quit in the past and things that I've said. They always sound alike. And when I can identify those patterns, that language, that soundtrack, if you will, that always tends to get, that I always play right when shit gets tough. I play that old, well, you
Oh yeah.
probably can't do it anyways. And these people are so much more experienced and smarter than you are. You sorry piece of shit. Or
Yeah.
whatever
You
your
suck.
sound like. Yeah. You suck.
Yeah.
Asshole amigo, you suck. Whatever your soundtrack sounds like. But if we can identify that and that sucker starts spinning, then we're like, fuck, get that out of here. And then we put on the whatever. Hey, what I'm installing a soundtrack into my children's computer system. It's the keep trying soundtrack. So
Mm-hmm.
when they're in a situation that's tough, I just say, keep trying, keep trying, keep trying,
Keep
keep
swinging. You bet.
trying, keep trying. That's it.
Well, when you don't give yourself, just like when I left this titled job that I hated, um, I was scared to death of what everybody would think. But I didn't have any other options in my brain. I've given myself no other options for Legendary. Um, I have some. I'm very fortunate because I have something to fall back on with my other company, and it's been a great ride. It's paid for my kids' school. It's paid for sports. It's. I'm very proud of what I've accomplished, but I'm just using it as a tool now because this is where I'm going,
Mhm.
and
Well, this is
there's
where the
not.
world's going too, brother.
That's
So good for
exactly
you.
it. So I want to be part of this new place. I want to be
Mhm.
part of this new idea, and I love that my customer base here is 500,000 people. And they're all worried about money right now. So I'm very fortunate. I have longtime customers. I built relationships, but margins are thinner and thinner with inflation and everything else. So the writing is on the wall for me, and you've got the world is a market. I can inspire somebody, and I
Yeah.
sold my first one, New Zealand, and I talked with people in Australia, and they understand exactly what we're talking about in the Western world.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all
Yeah.
just like, I just want to survive this thing. I want my family to be okay. Well, when you got that motivation,
And we're
and,
all
and you
also
have,
not, and we're
yeah,
also quiet. We don't want to be too loud with our complaining because there's families who are getting bombs dropped on them around
oh,
the world.
dude,
You know what I mean? So there's
I,
also that, right? There's like, we don't want to be too, so that's why I think the internet is a great place for us to tell stories and connect because we
mhm,
don't have to we can allow each other grace and dignity. We
mhm.
know you're scared and there's a solution, and we can go and be grateful by jumping on that solution together, knowing that people around the world are suffering. That's, I don't know, that's one way that I look at it because this shit is hard, and
Oh
I do
man,
like to make that real. This business is not easy, but if we look at the alternatives, I put all
yes.
my problems down on the table, and then the family from Ukraine puts their problems down on the table. Man, I take my
Dude.
problems off that table so fast and take them back and run
Absolutely.
home and say I'm grateful for my problems.
But
Right? I'm
you
gonna
get
give.
it. You get that though, and that's what people want to. They come home and they want to check out. I'm going to eat
Yeah,
my
yeah, yeah.
favorite food. I'm going to watch TV for 9 hours, and I'm going to get up and do it again. Well, a lot of people feel anxious doing that. They're trying to get a level of comfort so they can go back and do that next day again. If you can't, uh, you have to use that. You have to harness it. And you have to be self-involved. or self-evolved enough to go, was this it? And this is where faith comes in for me. It's the same faith. If you believe in a higher power, you believe in God. Um, it's the same faith where you believe in yourself. Do I believe in this or not? Well, it's a choice. You get to choose what you believe, and I believe this is happening for me, and that's a lot of the battle. It's really hard to get people to that point, and I've had to fail miserably and be 57, lose a lot of friends, uh, uh, to get to this place. And I'm trying to get
Yeah.
people to not have to maybe go through all that, maybe think about it, really focus on what would motivate me, and really think about, well, if you hate your job, use that. Use that
You
thing,
are helping them. You
you
are
know?
helping them see that because you're putting out this content on TikTok. And the reason why our parents and why you and people in previous years, decades didn't have better alternatives is because they didn't have a place where they could come and listen to a 57-year-old RJ share all his experience about his life. And the fact that you're willing to speak up and share it, it's a win-win situation. And that's why right now is the best time to get involved in what's happening right now, because it not only is it lucrative, it's where everybody's attention is, it's where the world's
Yes.
going. But doesn't it make perfect sense that human beings can meet and connect in such an intimate way? Look at us, what we're doing right now.
Yeah, I
We're
know.
having a
I'm
totally
jacked, man.
legit freaking conversation, chilling as if you're sitting right there. You're on your
Yeah.
porch. I've been listening to the birds for an hour and 17 minutes, and you're completely across the
I know.
country.
It's miraculous, and let's not forget it's miraculous. And
No, it's
let's say you
crazy.
didn't do let's say you didn't do legendary. Let's say you found another way to do this. All these
Great.
tools that are available to us, and that's the beauty is, well, if it's a blog, whatever. I just think for especially for the introductory, and like I said, I'm gonna get you one of your masterminds eventually. And then I'm gonna hound you and pay you to teach me one-on-one at some point. So I'll be calling you at some point and see if there's any room in your schedule. But I lost my track here. We were talking about motivation here.
Well,
I
we
went
were talking.
sideways. It's what happens when you're 57. You start losing track of
Yeah,
your
you
faculties,
start
Dave.
the farts actually rise up from your stomach into your head. You know what I mean? It's like an actual brain fart.
That's pretty technical. Okay, it's making
No,
sense
it's
though.
serious, dude. I mean, I was actually at the last mastermind, and I the night before I was having heart palpitation. I wasn't nervous, but I said, "Honey, get the blood pressure machine. So we're up there the night before the mastermind in a 20,000 square foot mansion, taking each other's blood pressure and stuff. We may not be 50, we may not be 57, but we were up there acting like we were about 97.
Oh,
Here
I
my
get
wife
it.
and I, beautiful my beautiful wife and I, it's 9 p.m., 20,000. We're taking each other's blood pressure. So, but you know what? We're happy. We're happy. And that's what's important. And my message to all of you, and I think RJ's is as well, is that this is not about Lamborghinis and mansions. This is not about millions of dollars in the bank account. This is about freedom. It's about not getting left behind too, right? Like you don't have to be left behind on the construction site or wherever you don't want to be. It's about freedom. It's about it's about it's about living life how you want to live life, and it's about life. It's about life design. And these tools in this business model in this community can help you design your life. And it's
Well,
not going to
it's
happen overnight.
purposeful. It's
It is purpose.
purposeful. And so I think people get lost in the marasma of their own bullshit, and that's when people go to drugs, and they cheat on, when you see people cheating on their wives, you see people making poor decisions for themselves. Well, maybe they don't have something positive to focus on, and you
Yeah.
can take that same energy and
Thank
and
you.
make something
So
better
true.
happen for yourself and for your family. But people don't believe. They think that they can't. Who am I? Well, who aren't you? You know, I mean,
Yeah.
why couldn't it be you? You think anybody, any rock star, anybody? Do you think that that was an automatic? No, it took them years. There's like, oh, you were an overnight success. You know, like these bands. They're like, we've been playing for 30 years, man. You just heard of me.
In
You know?
bars,
Yeah.
for 28, you know,
Yes.
with 3 drunk guys in the back going, yeah, woo! Right? I mean, that's been their audience for so long, but nobody
Nobody
talks
ever.
about that, and
Yeah.
nobody remembers that, you know, until you watch the documentary after their career is done, and you're like, oh shit, they really had a hard time. They got a good story. And it's like, yeah, everybody's got a good story. Anybody who's achieved anything in life has an awesome freaking story.
Right. Right. And I love to hear
It's,
them. I love to hear people's stories, man. Well, what made
yeah,
you do this? How'd you get there? You know, and what
yeah,
motivated you to do this? Especially people that have have gone after the thing that really inspires them,
yeah,
because that's the juice, man. And this juices me, you know. And that's what I was lacking in my existence. Is yeah, I know how to make money. I know how to. I've had hundreds of employees. I've had great successes, great failures. I'm not bragging here. I'm just saying I've had a lot of experience. Um, you know, again, my brain fart. I need to take my vitamins because my brain's not on yet. So
no, we're old guys, and we're coming up on an hour and 22 minutes. So what we
yeah.
should do is we should table anything else that we want to talk about and that we will talk about to the follow-up episode that we'd love to do with you here
Oh, I love
in a
that,
short
Dave.
period of time.
I would
So
love
yeah,
that.
man. Yeah, we'll have you back, and we do that quite often, have people back. But yeah, man, thanks for staying on so long. Thanks for the value, the conversation we've had. Your TikTok up, and people can go and connect with you and support you, and of course, sounds like you're out there supporting others and so forth, and building together with people, and that's really cool, man. So yeah, thanks so much, dude, and it's been great to chat this morning, and thanks for all your value that you shared.
Well, I appreciate that very much, Dave, and I was very much looking forward to visiting with you and picking your brain a little bit. So, like I said, it's weird to watch you every day on this program, and then I get to
Yeah,
visit with you. So,
yeah.
kind of an honor for me. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks, man. The pleasure is all mine. We'll talk to you later, brother. Keep up the
All
great
right,
work. Tell
you take
your
care.
wife and family we said hello, and we'll talk to you soon.
Same for you. Thank you.
All right, buddy. All right, my friends, there it is. Hour and 24 minutes. That might be a record. There you go, RJ. You might have the record for the longest Wake Up Legendary. And we've still got a good crew here hanging in with us. So hey, man, wow. Really cool. Really, really, really grateful for this community. Grateful for obviously the opportunity, but grateful for the amazing people in this community who yeah, I get to hang out with every day. I mean, come on. Is this the coolest job in the world? It really is. And I'm not doing a damn thing that anybody else can't do. I'm really not. Anybody else can do anything that I'm doing. We eat our own cooking. We teach exactly the same things in business models that we run and operate. We're not teaching you drop shipping while selling you courses, you know? Yeah, come back if you're new. Meet us back here for another episode tomorrow. 5 days a week we do this show. And if you're, wanting to really tune in, then get a text message reminder. We'll actually text you when we go live and and give you a little gentle nudge to come on. All right. Peace. Get on out of here. We'll see you back here for another episode of Wake Up Legendary.